This video is about what companies should do to organize for purchasing and supply management. Should they centralize procurement, or should they decentralize it, or is there a hybrid solution possible? This video shows you what options are possible for larger companies and how to choose among these different options. Large companies and organizations face the challenge of how to organize purchasing and supply activities. A company like Philips Electronics spends annually between 50 and 60 billion euro on suppliers. These suppliers amount to over 30,000 suppliers worldwide. How to orchestrate all of that? And the problem that most large corporations face in dealing with their supplier relationships is the following. You have a corporate headquarters usually, then you have a number of business units. The business units have a control over a number of operating companies. And what you will see that is that they will be bought at different levels of the organization. You see that there are buying departments, in fact, in every organizational entity. And suppliers may work with one and the same company at different locations, different business units, operating companies with headquarters. Take, for instance, a company like Microsoft. It may have deals with a company like Philips at various parts in the world. It may easily have over 100 or 200 contracts with that particular company without any coordination. We had some research done in the past in the relationship between General Electric and KLM, and there were over 200 contact points within the KLM organization with General Electric, and that were totally not coordinated. Now, the whole idea is what can we benefit and what can we generate in terms of cost and reduce cost when we coordinate all these relationships with General Electric, because you may be sure that a company like General Electric will orchestrate all its sales efforts towards this big customer. So the question then is, if we have this picture, should we go for a centralized option or should we stay decentralized in terms of the way we buy things from suppliers? And what we found through research is that companies in fact have 5 models. They have the option to fully decentralize and let every individual business unit buy for its own needs. They can opt for a totally centralized option. This is often used in retail, where there is a strong corporate purchasing organization making the deals with the global suppliers and manufacturers like Coca-Cola and Nestle and Heineken. Then we have something which is called federal procurement, where not so much buying is done centrally, but federal procurement means that there is one way in which we deal with procurement. The enabling processes are uniform and standardized throughout the organization. And then we have coordinated procurement, where we have a situation where we do not have a centralized procurement organization, but coordination is done among the business units on a rather voluntary basis. And then we have a concept which is called central-led procurement, where we have a hybrid structure, where some parts are bought decentral, some parts are bought in a coordinated way, and some parts and packages are bought from a centralized point of view. And we were curious about what decides what would be best for companies to do. And based on our research, we came on this model. This model explains that there are 2 things that you should keep in mind when you organize procurement. One is you should look at the purchasing and supply management maturity in the different operating units. If there's a high level of expertise in the business units available, please draw on that expertise and do not centralize everything, because at the central level you barely can be smarter than the people in your business unit. However, in some cases we have found that professionalism in the business units may be very low or non-existing, and then centralized procurement approach make much more sense. The other criterion that you should look at is corporate coherence, and that's the way in which a company is measured and managed as one entity. For instance, Heineken has a very strong corporate culture, and has a very common strategy in its different markets. And there it has a high corporate coherence. We have worked for technical companies that have different business units operating under their own name, and where you barely know that this particular company is part of a larger organization. Their corporate coherence is very low. So when corporate coherence is high, it enables a much more centralized approach towards purchasing. So the idea is not that you should organize procurement primarily based upon cost savings potential of your categories, but on the purchasing maturity in the business units and the corporate coherence. And then you will see 4 different ways to deal with this issue. So what can we conclude from this? One is that large corporations and larger organizations face the issue of should we centralize or decentralize our purchasing and supply operations. And in order to deal with this dilemma, this video gives some ideas about how to cope about this issue. We have identified 5 different coordination forms, ranging from fully decentralized to a fully centralized options. And we have seen that there are 3 hybrid structures possible, from coordinated purchasing, federal purchasing, and center-led purchasing. And that what is best for a company depends on 2 different criteria. One is the purchasing maturity at the different buying entities. Is that high or low? And the way in which the corporation is managed as one entity. So rather than looking at the size of a certain specific purchasing spend or the size of a supplier, organizational characteristics decide what will be best for your company to do.